Hi guys, welcome to a new video of Infinity Kingdom. This is Pyakia from server 49. I'm going to talk today about building an earth marsh. As you see here, I have a fire marsh. I talked about it in an article. I will leave you a comment in the description down below. And for the second marsh here, I'm going to describe every detail about building earth marsh. First of all, of course, you need our earth dragon. We have to consider and put in mind deploying 3 units of the same element at the same time will benefit us from getting an immortal defense equal to 20% additional for physical defense and immortal magical defense 20%. This will affect the 4 immortals that we are going to use here, or 4 immortals, even if you are using 3 earth immortals and another element. For example, Elizabeth here is shadow. You are going to gain this buff for them, and the 4 units of the same element will give us immortal physical attack additional 20% and immortal magical attack additional 20%. If you are using only 4 elements, the dragon will be included. So if you have if you're having 3 immortals, earth immortals and the dragon earth, that counts like 4 elements. If you are using 5 units of the same element, for example 4 immortals from earth and the earth dragon will benefit us having 10% additional HP for all the troops for all the 4 immortals. Let's talk about the front line. Our front line will be considered to use Charles. Charles is the most powerful champion or immortal in this game. Charles is the defense for the earth, and you can use Charles for wind marsh, holy marsh. Lots of holy marshes consist of Charles because he is so strong and OP. He creates a shield for all the units. The absorption rate for the max star will be 400%, and this is so huge shield buff. Charles will be available to use in the earth marsh to protect the front line and the back line. I will talk about the skills. It's preferred to use adrenaline rush and fighting master. You can use here an aura, or you can use guard if you have guard. Guard skill on Charles is broken. No one uses guard skill on any other champion, but they use guard on the immortal that use the huge amount of shields, and it's Charles, of course. For the front line, I will consider using Charles. Next to Charles, I will consider using Alexander. Alexander here is the most broken immortal, having his artifacts on. This is not a very decent artifact. If it has Robid, it would be more powerful. But I will talk about an artifact in additional video. Alexander is a physical attack dealer for Earth Marsh. You can use him having combo, anger, and dual master, or leaving anger to use cleave here, and leaving anger on the backline if you are using a backline for dealing physical damage. For the backline, we have in the Earth Marsh, this is the biggest marsh to use a wide circle of immortals, because you can use Cleopatra and Genghis Khan. For example, let's use here all elements. You can use Cleopatra and Elizabeth. You can use Cleopatra and Genghis Khan. You can use Cleopatra with even Baldwin, Merlin, Empress Wu, or Arash. You can use Cleopatra with any immortal, because Cleopatra can counter mages for her skill, because it's reducing magical damage. If you are not facing mages a lot, like water or fire, you can replace Cleopatra with you can use Zenobia with Arash to deal physical damage and to get the benefit of having 5 units. Or you can remove Arash if you are facing lots of waters, or holy, or wind if you are facing a lot of healing. you can use Genghis Khan to counter the healing with the wind skill. Building Earth Marsh is so complicated, and it could be so difficult if you can't organize your marsh well. For me, I face lots of earth marshes and lighting marshes, so I go all in, not countering mages with Cleopatra or counter healing with Genghis Khan, but I deal damage using my Elizabeth and try to protect my team using Charles. Also, my Alexander deals a decent damage. I will show you later on. So using Elizabeth here will be not benefiting me getting the 5 units of the same element. I will only get the 4 units of the same element. I won't need this additional HP because Charles is so broken shielding my Earth Marsh. As I showed you, I have a pool of immortals here that I can choose from. It's better to use Cleopatra and Elizabeth if you are facing marshes like water, fire, and even earth. You will deal more damage using Cleopatra and countering mages using also Cleopatra. Elizabeth here is broken. If the fight extended more than, I guess, 50 seconds or 1 minute, if the fight is going to be very close and will finish in 30 to 40 to 50 seconds, it will be better not using Elizabeth, because Elizabeth skill will deal damage over time after casting this skill lots of times. I'm going to talk about the skills and artifacts briefly. As you see here, my main marsh using the skills for auras, I use misleading. I use berserk. Some people try to use shelter on the earth marsh. It's so valuable skill. As you see here, I also have it. I use Korsham because I face lots of earth. You have to consider what marshes you are facing. So if you are facing an earth like you and you are using earth marsh, you have to counter and reduce the dodge rate for them to land more basic attacks. Misleading will reduce accuracy rate, and you will not get as much basic attacks as you will leave. You can change misleading with malice if you are facing mages or fire marshes, but I don't face fire marshes a lot, so I use misleading here on earth marsh, and for my fire marsh I use malice because I counter lots of crit using my fire marsh. But I'm going to talk about earth marsh only today. Here is the additional skills to use. You can use skills on Alexander instead of cleave or combo. You can use anger here, but I used anger on my Elizabeth because my Elizabeth deal damage using death press and anger. She has an aura using caution. For the Zenobia, you can use grace skills like resist and oaken guard. As you see here, there is resist, but I don't use resist because as I told you, I face lots of marshes dealing physical attack, so I don't need resist on this marsh. Energy suppression just to delay the energy regen for the enemy team, and I can cast my skills first. So if I'm facing Charles, and my Charles could use his elemental skill that absorbs the damage and creating a shield, and his Charles will be delayed for 50% the time that my Charles can create the shield for us. So my Alexander will kill their main damage dealer, his Alexander for example, or my Elizabeth can a little bit weakness their marsh by landing a lot of skills and death breath. Death breath can kill some of the troops, so yes, energy suppression here will delay the shields or healing for them. My Zenobia will provide heals for my marsh to regain HP with berserk. You can use also shelter here instead of misleading, and will be focusing to increase the duration of the fight as long as possible. If you are defending with this marsh, not attacking, it will be better to be sustainable against lots of strong marshes. For artifacts, it's better to use the special artifact for Alexander. Also for Zenobia, it's going to be better to use dodge value instead of dodge rate. For Alexander, for sure, you should use physical attack bonus, not physical attack flat. But if you have physical attack flat, it's more way better than, of course, magical defense. Magical defense is to use this artifact on the main damage dealer, Alexander. I have talked about the artifacts in the single article. You can check it on the forum. I will leave the description down below. For Zenobia, you can use her special artifact. It will provide an additional attack speed for Alexander, as I will show you here. If we went into this, yes, it will be providing additional 25% attack speed for every immortal she can heal. So it will make Alexander shine way more better. And for my Elizabeth here, if you are facing if you are using Cleopatra, it's better to use Annihilation, Concentration, and Toxin Nova or Fire Nova. As you see here, Toxin Nova for Cleopatra, or Fire Nova, NYS. They are the same skill with different attributes. You can they use both of them if you are not having Annihilation. Annihilation is so broken. Even Spell Disintegrator, I didn't open it yet. It's a premium skill. You can use it from here. Let me search for it. Yes, Spell Disintegrator. It's so advanced skill that deals damage every 3 seconds. There is 50% chance to deal damage on 3 random enemy units. For Arash, you can build Arash to deal physical damage, same build as Elizabeth. Her skill, Caution, Death Breath, and Anger. Arash skill will be dealing physical damage for enemies. Also, we have more options for the front line, but I don't see anyone use them because they are not that strong. Alexander plus Charles will be more better than Muhammad II. Muhammad II removes all debuffs and have deal physical damage to enemy directly ahead. It's same skill as William, for example. He deals damage to the enemy and the back line in one line. So if the enemy dodges the skill will be cast again immediately without consuming energy and deals 30% increased damage. So if you are facing a marsh that dodges or using dodge, accuracy rate, and this skill is going to be dodged, this skill will be casted immediately without causing any energy to be losing or gaining, and will be dealing additional 30% damage. This skill here at the maximum range will use 60% physical damage, with the extra 30% here will be around 800% instead of 600%, and this is a massive amount of damage. You wish to you wish to be dodged using this skill if you are using Muhammad II. I guess I covered everything about this marsh. If you have any question about the earth marsh, I am here building or using a strong earth marsh. For Genghis Khan, I didn't talk about Genghis Khan briefly, but Genghis Khan uses to counter heals. You can use Genghis Khan to deal damage using also the same skills: Anger, Death Breath, and Caution. But you will mainly be counter healing, so you will be using Cleopatra with Genghis Khan to counter the magical attack, since the marsh that will be he use healing, it will be water. So yeah, my ideal marsh here is Cleopatra, Elizabeth, and Alexander, and Charles. We will not ignore this. 5 units of the same element will gain 10% HP. This is a huge, so don't waste it. If you are going to waste it, make sure you are building a strongest earth marsh in the server, and put in mind that your arena should be should be not that weak, and winning a lot of matches, and you can test it here in the arena or training camp if you can't, as I showing you here. Let me put my Zenobia to get my power back. You can test this marsh excluding the tech and your alliance buff. You can use the difficulty from here. I will talk about it more briefly in another video. If you have any question, leave me a comment down below. Don't hesitate to ask me away, and thank you for watching.